Oh, less than 10 minutes?
And then we're going to learn about inspections.
Yeah. Didn't we spoke about it before, but didn't they do inspection of non-neutral ship at some point early in the war?
Yes.
Part of what was called the cruiser rules.
Hey Bart, how you doing? And yes, they did. It was called prize regulations.
Yeah. So, but that would be good for a UBE 1939 start points because that's I guess when it happened compared to later in the war. Oh, Link is here.
Is he?
Yeah, he's in the Grab Me channel.
Yes. There you are, you son of a gun, slipping in right under the wire.
Just as I was starting to speak about UBE as well.
Do you know what time it is?
I don't know what time it is. What time is it?
I thought we all used living U-boat here.
Dude, I will reach across the oceans and skies.
Guys, this is Link, creator of Uboat Expanded.
Hey, to be fair, the only reason I use living U-boat is I'm pretty sure McDougal told me to.
What?
Excuses.
Pretty sure he told me to do it. Fairly certain I asked for some mod recommendations before, and I was told living U-boat.
I never suggested living Uboat. What are you talking about?
I think somebody told me living U-boat.
And if I haven't introduced him yet, I'm sorry. This is I. Say hi.
Hello.
He is the creator of BDU Convoy Reports, which is, I think, a really cool mod as well. Works well with Uboat Expanded.
Thank you.
Explain your mod. We have 7 minutes.
So, you want me to explain the report mode?
Yes.
Well, when you're using the game at the moment, there's not much radio communication going on, and for some people, it's hard to find ships or convoys. So I try to make it slightly easier on people and also a little bit more realistic, given that the HQ was communicating with U-boats all the time. So there's a system which might take a while to explain, but in short, there's a system that after a certain time and based on the number of conditions, whether there are other friendly U-boats around and what do they see and how far away they are from you, you'll get reports from those guys. About 50% chance to get one every day. Sometimes it's faster than that, sometimes it might take longer. But then the end, you'll get a message that tells you, hey, I've sighted a convoy or blown ship or a military group, whatever, at these coordinates, and then there's an observation that shows up on your map, so you can track them and intercept them, trying to make people's lives a little bit easier, I guess.
It does make the game feel more alive for me.
Yeah, it did always feel lonely floating out there in the ocean.
Yes, that I guess that helps to alleviate that a little bit and make it a bit more lively because you get some stuff, and hopefully with UBE activated because it works for both. But if you have UBE, you can also have German ships and German aircraft, and those can also send reports to you.
Very swag.
So, and that's my it's actually my second mode. My first one I made was the historical flag one, which is designed to be used primarily with UBE, because UBE adds a giant amount of countries. Well, I mean, it doesn't add it; they're already in there technically, but actually use them compared to vanilla. And then I put all those flags for them, and yesterday or 2 days ago, I released a new version that has a functional flag identification booklet that you can use while in Periscope or Uzo mode.
So relax. If you're using BDU Convoy reports, what you're talking about there is most likely because you're using BDU Convoy reports without Uboat Expanded. Because in vanilla U-boat, the amount of NPC U-boats is very, very high. too high
Yeah, that's
to be
correct.
to be historically correct, which is why you're probably receiving so many convoy sighting reports from other U-boats.
Yeah, that does play, and if there's a lot of density of U-boats, you will be more likely to get more. I think I could possibly offer in the future like some tweakable settings, including the percentage chance every hour or whatever, and so people could maybe change that to what they want. So people don't get too many, or if somebody really likes to have a lot, they could have a lot. If you change the percentage chance to 100% every hour, you get the message all the time. But work in progress for the future. Technically, it's still in beta. Technically.
Everything's still in beta.
Oh, he does use UBE,
Yes. Is it? Oh.
but somehow he's still getting too many reports.
Yeah. Well, which UBE? Because there's also in some of the recent revision that Link made, for example, in Light, there was he did increase the activity of U-boats a little bit, and actually created a lot more than he expected.
That's correct. Yeah.
So that might be the problem. I mean, I have that. I have a lot of those U-boats in my UB Lite version I use at the moment, but they don't send too many reports to me. So it's interesting. I mean, if Sir likes, you can always send me your output log, and I can have a look, because they'll give some information on what's going on and how often they're generated. Maybe something is going wrong there.
Yeah, if you have the U-boat patrols that are occurring too often, just ping me with where it's at and what date in game, and I can take a look.
Yeah, and I can look at the log to see why the messages are coming all the time. Yeah, that's it. I think that covers the whole thing.
I love your mods. I really do.
Thank you.
I love all y'all's mods. I don't know why I'm here. Hey, here's the guy who made the Uboat Expanded. Hey, here's the guy that made convoy reports. What do
You're
you
a
do?
history nerd.
Yeah, I
We
don't know. I
need you
like
guys.
history and I play video games. What do you want from me?
Everybody has their own news. Come on.
60 seconds.
Is it? Oh.
I'm around. I exist.
Right, it's more
I
than
still
60
think
seconds.
TheDadgame is famous. He's famous.
More famous than I am.
There's more people in this stream right now than I have on a good day. Well, then again, I did just kill off like a solid 2/4 of my fan base recently, so
Uh-oh. Are we gonna have
Let's start.
a moment?
The video is actually currently playing in Watch Together. Yeah, this is like it's like a live stream on YouTube. But I mean, that's what you can see that the pause button, the video is playing.
oh yeah.
I don't know how they did this on YouTube, but it's pretty clever. I like it. Let's see what happens.
I think this is the premiere, so like it treats it like a live stream whenever you
Yeah.
post your video. Yeah.
I'm not seeing anything.
Zundez,
specific in the
hello.
watch.
Premiere will begin shortly.
Yeah, so that.
Oh, this is great. Yay! There it goes! Ah!
We've advanced from one timer to another timer.
Wait, is it circling back?
Turning it down just a little bit, making sure that the audio isn't maxing out.
Ooh, that's loud.
right, guesses go.
Okay, so we know we're getting the ability to inspect ships. My guess is neutral ships only. It would make no sense to investigate an enemy ship, right?
Look, my favorite drink is milk, and that's all I want.
But they might talk more about the campaign.
That would be interesting, because that's the big change compared to Sandbox.
Give an example of that campaign narration. That'd be nice.
They told us that they were giving us a seamless transition between travel mode and instance mode. The one thing they didn't talk about, though, is revamping time compression. And if you were to go back and watch like Dev Diary number 4 or 3, whatever, you'll actually see that there is a new time compression, 140 for realistic.
Yep.
So it was like 12,
Realistic
48,
or-
140, 1800, 6500.
Realistic, or there's no more difference, and there's only one mode.
There you go.
Oh, they were actually pillaging British ships for their food and supplies? That's hilarious. Yarhar. Here we go. So all 4 of you guys have control over this video. Hit pause whenever you like, but let's watch it all the way through first.
Sure.
All right.
Welcome to the 5th U-Boat devlog video for the upcoming update 129. This time, we will discuss upgrades related to the enemy shipping. Since this update, neutral ships that are headed to blockade enemy ports now become a valid prize for your U-boat.
Oh!
Also, enemy merchant ships without escort
New flags.
may occasionally use a neutral flag as a disguise. If you manage to sink such a less obvious target, you will be well rewarded by the High Command. But beware, because if the ship turns out to be involved in a neutral trade, your actions may lead to a humanitarian crisis, or at the very least, a diplomatic incident. To
Yes.
find out if a ship is a valid target, you will be able to send your team to inspect it. Once there, your officers may talk with the captain and search the cargo hold.
Holy
Keep
shit!
your eyes open, because if unexpected dangers appear during the inspection, your
They're
crew
sitting
will
in the
become
cabin
stranded.
with the captain.
It's also going to be possible to send a team to abandoned ships. Your crew can then search the compartments, and if you have a skilled engineer, you can save torpedoes by sinking it with a
Yes! You can finally use the mine skill.
Since this update, enemy vessels will transport a much more varied cargo like iron ore, lumber, rubber,
Gold.
and in rare cases, even
Look at
gold.
that.
The routes on which these goods will be shipped are historically accurate. That's all that we want to share with you in today's video. You will
Are
hear
they,
more from us in
though?
the next week about this update's estimated release date, as well as upgrades in our team. Stay safe and see you soon.
Wait, did you say the next one was going to be release date?
There's a whole lot more video here that is just... Oh, I see.
That's just it being premiere. Once again, it's treated like a live stream.
Alright.
Wonder if I can restart the video. Yeah. there
Welcome
we
to
go.
the 5th U-Boat devlog video for the upcoming update 129. This time, we will discuss
You guys pause the video whenever you want.
upgrades related to the enemy shipping. Since this update, neutral
So what
There we
flag is
go.
that?
Portugal.
That's
Portuguese.
Portugal.
So
All right, there's one. All right.
Did- wait, wait,
We're,
did-
we're being
did-
put out of business.
did this just deprecate EE's flag mod?
It depends how many they add, and it depends how good they were at their research in terms of which flag is correct.
Yeah. Maybe
bet
they
you
just
saw-
downloaded our mod.
Yes.
Like, oh, this is the flag. Excellent.
So outside of, I'm assuming for these merchant ship, first of all, that gives you a great reason. I always hate whenever I'm floating around in the ocean and I get in front of a ship. I get on target. I get that perfect 90-degree angle on them. I get my scope up. I take a close look, and it's a neutral flag. And I'm just like, well, that was a waste of time. Cool. It's always
Well, I mean-
it's always a
But
bad
no, that's-
feeling thing.
That's good because, like, if you even watched my stream yesterday, I had a field day with the Foxtrot Sierra convoy. God, Link, I love those convoys so much. In vanilla,
Yeah.
the North Sea is barren. There's hardly anything up there. It's not even worth starting in Kiel or Wilhelmshaven. Just go down to get a transfer to La Rochelle as soon as you can, right? In vanilla. But I could stay in Wilhelmshaven throughout most of the war, just having fun picking on the Foxtrot convoy. But it almost felt bad. After I sunk the first 3 destroyers, let's not talk about that, I just had a field day ripping apart the rest of the convoy, whether they were allies or neutral. But it was fun, but at the same time, it was like, what am I doing here? But
Yeah.
now you actually have to take into careful consideration what you're pointing your periscope at.
Yeah, I think that's great because there's so many discussion on the Discord of like people sinking a neutral ship willy nilly, and that of course it did happen during the war, and I think Link at some point had like the list of all those Swedish things that were sunk, but there's still supposed to be some consequences for shooting at neutrals. They're not technically part of the war.
Good question, sir. Relax. I'll paint you a scenario. Imagine you come across a small convoy of 3 ships, 2 allied and 1 neutral. The 2 allied ships explode in a fireball as they get struck with torpedoes. And then, a few moments later, surfaces a U-boat right next to the neutral ship, demanding that the neutral ship stop so they can be boarded and inspected. That's the way I see it going.
Well, they're not going to say no at that point because of the implication.
The implication. Well, historically, neutral ships were sunk all the time. Link, tell us more about that real quick.
Yeah, they were sunk all the time. I think I have a sheet somewhere that actually determined when ships were sunk and based off of if they had declared war or against Germany or Germany had declared war against them. And I think it was around like 800 ships in total during the war that had been sunk that had basically no legitimate transgressions in World War II. There was a predominant number of like Swedish and Norway and a few other nations that really took the brunt of that number, but yeah, it was pretty significant. I mean, and if you look at the KTBs that follow along with them, I mean, it is kind of what the devs are talking about, right? Like the U-boat would surface, check out the ship, and find a reason to sink them. But there was also, I mean, sometimes it was like a fishing vessel, and they'd be like, we found things on a fishing vessel. I was like, no, you didn't find anything on a fishing vessel. I mean, what, like medical supplies? Like, so, there's
a first aid kit. A first aid kit.
Yeah, yeah. There's definitely some gray areas where, and there's some KTBs where they legitimately sank a ship that was later identified as the wrong ship, and they were just like, well, that sucks. Move on.
So it was a common occurrence to sink neutral vessels.
Yeah, if you're talking about 800 ships of the few thousand, it wasn't every day.
What about neutrals sailing in a convoy of British ships? Possibly like some neutrals, for whatever reason, were on the convoy from Boston to Liverpool. Which I think was the HX.
Point, the free game.
Really? Why?
Yeah, so when you saw neutrals, and you can even look at data for neutral ships that were sunk, some of them were sunk participating in convoys. And for whatever reason, the ship was in the convoy. They were sunk. If they were being escorted by British ships, that's fair game at that point.
Makes sense.
Yeah,
Fair enough.
You will see what happened with those ships. Neutral ship, are they alone, or obviously if they're in the middle of a convoy, you're not going to try to board one.
I'm just very happy that I'm not gonna have
unrestricted warfare.
I never sunk neutral ships anyways. Honestly, I thought that there was a penalty already, just because I never did it, so I didn't know there wasn't one.
I held back too, but the moment I saw one of my fellow NPC U-boats deliberately send a salvo at a neutral ship Rest in peace, the Fox. And I was gloves off at that point. If the NPCs are going to do it, I'm going to do it too.
NPCs are not necessarily, good examples.
But it'll be nice whenever you hunt down that little ship and then you come up as a neutral and it's not just I got it, whatever, I'll leave him alone. It'll be hey, what are you doing? Why are you here? Show me your stuff.
What I wonder if is that would be nice to see is having neutral ships actually being all lit at night. So because they're signaling they're neutrals and not enemy.
That would be cool as well.
Maybe it's.
So that's a good question. I wonder if the devs are going to implement that accurately. If a neutral ship was in a convoy, for instance, if there were neutral ships in an HX convoy, which is Halifax to Liverpool, very famous convoy code, very popular convoy code, you saw it all the time, then they were hostile.
Yeah, because they would not be lit then. I suppose.
And the player sinking a neutral ship in an HX convoy, for instance, should not get reprimanded, should not have any penalties against them. But if you came across a entirely neutral convoy that had no escorts, it was just neutral ships, then that would be a case where you would get reprimanded.
Yeah, that makes sense.
What does that say? Prize rules. Merchant ships may use neutral flags.
Neutral flags for disguise. Trade ships headed at blockade ports are now valid targets. Or blockaded ports are now valid targets.
Cool.
Blockade enemy ports now become a valid prize for your U-boat. Also, enemy merchant ships without escort may occasionally use a neutral flag as a disguise. If you manage to sink such a less obvious target, you will be well rewarded by the High Command. But beware, because if the ship turns out to be involved in a neutral trade, your actions may lead to a humanitarian crisis, or at the very least, a diplomatic incident.
So I can see the new flags that were not in there: Portugal, Argentina, and Spain.
That's pretty cool.
Funny enough, Argentina was actually part of the Allied for a month at the end of the war, or something like that.
For whole months.
Or maybe a little bit longer. I think they came either in early 45 or... they came in really
If
late.
a ship is a valid target, you will be able to send your team to inspect it. Once there, you're
So this is using the same away system that we saw in an earlier dev diary video for sending your team to install the weather station. Freighter deck. Can you guys read that font?
Yeah.
Captain of this freighter helps your crew to get to the deck and greets each member of your delegation with a willkommen. He then introduces himself as Tom Steele.
Tom Steele.
He knows only the basics of the German speech, and you both try to communicate with a mixture of German and English, which is his native language. After exchanging pleasantries, he invites you to the social rooms in the deck house. Accept or decline.
Ha.
talk with the captain, search the cargo.
And this one?
Captain nods and confirms that you can have a look if that's needed. He invites you to follow him, and after a short walk, you are in the ship's cargo hold. Meet the captain at his office or search the cargo hold. Look in the top right corner there real fast.
That's the stats of your away team.
Yeah.
What's the blue bar for, though?
Could be their energy.
Certain amount of energy that you can perform on actions during the away? Or just their general energy before you send them over there and all?
Good question.
They look slightly different.
Wait. They passed a few dialogue options. Let's go back.
Go
Yeah,
back
we
forward a
said-
little bit.
Trying. There we go.
What should we do next? Ask the captain for the shipping documents, request access to the cargo hold, order evacuation, or return to your ship. All right, everybody off the ship. We're sinking it. Same thing there.
During the inspection, your crew may become stranded.
Your crew may
You're
become
in the engine
stranded?
room.
What do you say?
Yeah, hold on, wait, go back. Yeah, go back. What did he say?
Your crew may become stranded. Suspected dangers appear during the inspection. Your crew may become stranded.
If dangers
If
appear during the
external
inspection,
danger.
yeah.
Yeah. If you end up having to go back to your U-boat and
Don't have time because there's like a hunter killer group showed up or something.
Or an aircraft.
I guess. Yeah.
It's also going to be possible to send a team.
What does it say here?
go to the engine room, go back to the deck house, go to a cargo hold, plant explosives, return to your ship. So it looks like it's not just going to be like a linear, like the missions as far as I've seen so far, where it's a fairly linear choose your own adventure type little setup there. Branching paths. This looks to be like you actually, you go in and you do somewhat of an investigation, a bit more open ended from what I've seen.
Well, hold up. So these definitely look like pre-baked environments.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's like a choose. It loads the pre-bake, and then move forward.
Which it's
Mhm.
it's fine. It'd be
No,
cool
it's
if you
fine.
could.
I mean,
It'd be cool
yeah.
if you could walk around the merchant ship in first person view, but I'm not gonna hold my breath over it.
Team
No.
directives. Your crew can then search the compartments, and if you have a skilled engineer, you can save torpedoes by sinking it with explosives.
We were talking about flags
Hey.
and giving me out of business, but this is the wrong flag. Spanish
Look at that
Russian
dinghy.
flag did not have the symbol inside. It was
I'm
just,
so happy that
three
you're here,
colors.
I'm so happy that you're here. And I'm so happy
Yeah.
that you know all that.
There
That's
it
so
is.
true.
So I'm not totally out of business. Yay!
Also, I noticed something. What do you see here?
Dinghies. Look at those new dinghies.
Yeah, there's people actually are people inside the evacuation boats.
Proper
Is that what you're
longboats,
saying?
not just rubberized pontoons.
Lastly, since
Now I get to run them over.
New goods.
this update, enemy vessels will transport.
What does the font say?
Port workers hide to buildings, sirens, and AA gun reload hotkey.
Right. And so you can actually pick up more goods now as well.
A much more cargo like iron ore, lumber, rubber, and in rare cases, even
Yes,
gold.
you can take their
The routes
golds
on which
to
these goods
get
will
a lot
be
of
shipped
money.
are historically
So you can poach some of their cargo and bring it back.
Oh, down
And
there in
sell
the
it.
bottom left corner, searching the cargo hold, 55%, and then a 100% blue bar.
Real
Follow-
fast.
Mhm.
This environment, even though it's pre-baked, I look at the captain and see the captain. He looks like he's a free NPC. So that actually looks like something.
Yeah, but that's
You know what I'm saying?
an old trick. You could do that with remember the days of Resident Evil, Silent Hunter, and what was it? Hold on. Dino Crisis.
Yeah, that's the kind of feel I'm getting right now. It's like it has a pre-baked environment. I mean, that's nice. That's a great. I have no. I was just concerned at first that. Okay, is this just like a pre-baked scene that you just have a selection option, kind of like
historically accurate.
those
That's
games?
all that we want
But
to
that
share
actually
with
looks
you
like
in
they move
today's
around.
video. You will hear more from us in the next week about this update's estimated release date, as well as upgrades in our team.
I want to hear that
wait,
one more time.
what?
Next update will have a estimated release date. Oh, sorry,
About this
for Beat 129.
update's estimated release date, as well as upgrades in our team. Stay safe.
Upgrades on our team.
Upgrades in our team. Yeah.
Maybe they'll finally talk about Ruby, or maybe more than Ruby.
The two devs that they talked about that they added. I think they're asset developers.
That's my first time
It's
hearing
me,
of that, but that makes
TheDadgame.
sense.
I'm the upgrade. I don't know what I'm doing.
Because, and now, correct me if I'm wrong, chat, because I never quite got the solid information on this, just the scuttlebutt. But supposedly, the model maker who made the Type 7 passed away in a car accident.
Oh.
Yeah, the genius that made the model. is not with us.
You heard that too?
Yeah, that's accurate.
Rest
Okay.
in peace.
Which might explain why certain aspects of the game slowed down. Certain progress of U-Boat slowed down, while other aspects of U-Boat sped up. The bug fixes have been fantastic, as have been the coding.
Yeah.
I think it's one of the reasons why. So initially during the Kickstarter, they had promised, because of the goals, right? And those goals were made by the team. They each thought of like what they could do a certain amount of time, right? And they had talked about having multiple subs, and they may still do that. I'm not saying that's not possible, but I think because of the loss of that team member, right? Like adding in those additional subs became a lot harder a task to reproduce what he did, because even with Unity and everything, like the way they built that sub is very well done. So I think they'll manage, but
That explains a lot.
I think that's the reason why we have never seen get added to development. Whereas if that hadn't occurred, you might have actually seen like, more variants or more model types.
It also makes it particularly hard getting a person to replace that sort of position, since you would have to essentially have the same kind of style as the first one, or completely redo the first one entirely.
He passed away in 2017. Wow.
Yeah, literally just after or just before after the Kickstarter. I forget when the Kickstarter was.
Yeah, it's something that you would see talked about all the time on the forums. The Type 21 was mentioned in the Kickstarter. Why don't we have one? Well, there you go. The team had to shift their focus to other things after his departure.
Great, now I gotta find time in my schedule to stream U-Boat again.
Well, may he rest in peace. He did fantastic work.
Very much so. Beautiful looking boat.
Yeah. Is there anything else interesting in this video?
Sadly, this is the end of the clip. And I didn't see any other UI bits that we could pick apart. Unless, do you see anything on any of these screens?
Not really.
What about
Not
over,
really? Yeah.
Wait, go back to the periscope. What about on the left-hand side?
Oops, where was the periscope?
I was hoping maybe you would see the TDC button over here.
Some of the colors looks a little different. Like this,
Oh yeah, and this
what is it?
icon. This icon lets you know that you're in an instance.
Oh yeah, the blue one, yeah. Well, we didn't know whether it was like that or being close to land or whatever, but maybe it's just an instance.
Safe and see you soon. As well as upgrades in our team. Stay safe. In today's video, you will hear more from us in the next week about this updates as well as upgrades in our team. Stay safe.
It studies.
Next week about this update's estimated release date as well.
Well, here next week. Doesn't specify a new video, but we'll hear.
It sounds like sometime this week they'll be announcing when B129 might drop.
Next week.
Exciting.
Or is
Never
this week,
before.
next week?
Never before has DWS announced when a patch was coming out. They just released the patch. They released it to unstable, and then they released it to stable. I guess maybe they're doing this because just every other day you see somebody posting a thread on the Steam forum saying when B129.
Maybe the announcement will be B29 today.
Mm.
So I do think, and this is just my judgment, is I think B130 will be a release branch. I think there'll be the same amount of time between B130 and B129, but I think they'll do another, 4 or 5 months, whatever length of time. But I think it'll be patch fixing and all that stuff.
I'm
And
in
a
no
few additional
hurry.
features.
I just want them to do it right.
I'm real excited. So far, when I first got this game, honestly, I was a bit disappointed because I got it the moment that it came out, and it ran terribly and was buggy as crap. I dropped this game for like a year, didn't touch it for like a year, came back to it, love it. Not touching it for the year was the best decision I made because, ooh-wee.
For the love of God, give us the ability to lower this antenna.
No, please.
I
Or make it transparent. Because there's like, I don't know if you've noticed, but when you are in, you look through the periscope while you're surfaced and you have people on the deck, you can't see them.
That's true.
They're invisible. And so you see the Uzo turning on its own, like, there's a ghost driving it. It's a little bit creepy.
I hadn't noticed that or remember that until you pointed it out, but that's true.
Yeah. And I think the Biscay cross is it transparent? I don't remember, but there's some stuff become invisible, so maybe just make that one as well.
Well, really, what I'd like to see happen is that it only pops up out of its cradle when your radio officer is actively deciphering an incoming transmission from another vessel.
True. Or at minimum, have it outside only when you're surfaced.
That as well.
There's no
Yeah,
point
could do
having
that.
it. Yeah, there's no point having it while you're underwater.
And they did lower it to protect it.
All right. Well, this has been fun. I've been up for quite a while, so I'm gonna head to sleep.
You do that. Get some rest.
Finally.
Appreciate y'all having me. This is fun. Need to find more time to stream U-Boat in my schedule at some point. I'm moving soon, so that might be a bit difficult, but maybe after the move.
All right.
Well, until next time, TheDadgame.
Anyway, yeah, thank y'all for having me. Y'all have a good one.
Cheers.
Have a good one, man.
Goodbye.